If you feel resentful in your marriage, but you're the one trying the hardest, this is why. It doesn't mean that something's wrong with your marriage, and it doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. It usually means that you're stuck in a pattern that you might not even realize. And today I'm going to show you exactly what that pattern is, why it creates resentment, and how to start shifting out of it. I'm a relationship coach for wives, and over the past 5 years, I've helped many women to shift out of this exact pattern and into deeper connection in their marriages. Now, of course, you didn't wake up like this one day and just realize that you felt resentful. It built over time, little by little. You started taking on a little bit more because you care. You handled things because it was easier and more efficient. You kept the peace because you didn't want conflict. And over time, you became the one holding everything together: the schedule, the house, the emotional energy of the relationship. And somewhere in that, you started to feel irritated and then disconnected and then resentful. Maybe you found yourself feeling like you love him, but you don't want to spend the day around him. And that contradiction is exhausting. So let me reflect something back to you right now. Maybe you're the one who keeps everything running, who thinks ahead for both of you, who says I'm fine when you're really not, who's had the same conversation over and over again, but nothing really changes. If that's you, you're likely stuck in what I call the overfunctioning cycle. Here's what this looks like. At first, you're just a loving wife doing her best and living day to day. And then, because you care, you take on a little bit more and figure, well, it'll even out in the end. But then one day, suddenly you look up and realize that actually you're the one who's managing everything. And it's exhausting and frustrating. And when you start to feel the distance in the relationship, you try to fix it. You try to communicate more, explain your needs better. You try to fix things. But here's the part that most women don't realize. And this is what's really happening. The more that you manage, the less that he steps up. The more that you pursue connection, the more he pulls back. So you try harder. And now you're doing everything and feeling completely alone while you do it. This is exactly what I see with the women that I work with. And this is where most marriage advice gets it wrong. They tell you to communicate better, to have these big conversations where you sit down and explain all of your feelings and your needs and what you want, which totally makes sense and sounds good. But my guess is if you're watching this, you've probably already tried it and not had success. And the reason is that those kinds of conversations keep you focused on the relationship instead of looking at the pattern that you're in inside of it. Because the real issue isn't that you're not trying hard enough, it's that your effort is going in the wrong direction. Here's the deeper truth: resentment often isn't coming from him, it's coming from the fact that you have neglected yourself or taking on too much for far too long. You've been stuck in that overfunctioning cycle. You've been carrying more than your share emotionally, mentally, and often physically too. And there's been no relief. And so over time, you start to disappear in your own life. And that's why this feels so heavy. So, what actually changes this? Not another conversation, not trying harder, but a real shift. And I want to talk you through this shift clearly and step by step. The first shift is that you stop carrying everything alone. Of course, this doesn't mean that you drop everything and stop caring and just give up. It means that you start noticing when you've just been automatically stepping in and fixing or doing things and taking over. And instead, you cultivate self awareness. And when you notice that, you give yourself permission to slightly pull back so that you can observe how you feel and really tune in with your own needs in that moment and to honor yourself. The second shift is to come home to yourself. This is where you start asking yourself, how do I feel? What do I want? What do I need that I can give to myself? What have I been putting on hold? And what have I been sacrificing that I shouldn't? Because right now, your energy has been going almost totally into your relationship, and very little has been coming back to you. The third shift is that you stop trying to control the outcome. This is the hardest one because it means that you stop trying to manage how everything unfolds. And that can feel really scary and vulnerable. Of course, it doesn't mean giving up, but it means releasing the belief that everything's yours to fix and that it all falls on your shoulders. Now, this can feel really uncomfortable at first because when you've been in the overfunctioning loop for a long time, things can feel uncertain and it can feel really scary when you feel like you're out of control. You might feel the urge to jump back in and save the day or fix things or help things move along and manage things. But that discomfort is part of the shift. Here's what starts to happen when you start to do the work. You feel lighter, you feel more like yourself again, and there's more of you in the relationship and more space for your husband to step in and to support you. And that's how real connection happens, not through more effort or more difficult conversations or better communication scripts. It comes with a woman who's fully present again. So I want you to pause for a second and ask yourself, where have you been overfunctioning in your marriage? Where have you been sacrificing in order to put everybody else first? And how long have you been stuck in that cycle? If you're recognizing yourself in this, don't just leave with a little bit more awareness, because this is where a lot of women get stuck. They see the pattern, but don't actually know how to shift it. That's exactly why I created something for you. It's called 3 Steps to Reignite Connection in Your Marriage. And it walks you through exactly how to step out of the overfunctioning loop and start creating real connection again without chasing, without begging, without over explaining, and definitely without trying harder than you already are. This is the same starting point I use with my clients. And for a lot of women, this is where things actually begin to really change. You can download it in the description below. And if you're craving personalized support, because it can be really hard to shift these things when you're all on your own, you can reach out to me directly as well. The link to work with me is also in the description. You don't need to keep doing this the hard way. You don't need to do it alone. There's a better and different way forward. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.